Okay, guys, welcome to the course. Again, my name is Rick Jenkins, the Supa Producer. Let's get started. Producing independent films for profit and residual income. All right, there are 7 key steps to making and selling an independent film. Let's get into the first step. All right, step 1, development. This is where you decide what type of film you're going to make. Okay, now, during that process, you also need to decide what you are and then stick to it. And what I mean by that is, are you a producer? Are you the director? Are you an executive producer or whatever? But you have to take on the role and stick with it. You can't shy away from it. You can't give the responsibilities to someone else. You're the one that has to take on those responsibilities, make the tough phone calls, take on the responsibility of paying for things, signing your name to things, and things like that. Because people will try you, people will ask you things and ask who the producer is just to see if you'll step up and take on the responsibility. So that's key. Decide what you are and stick to it when it comes to the film. Okay. Next, location. Find a free or very low cost location first. Before you do anything else, find a location. And the reason I say this is because you don't want to get out there and sit down and write an elaborate film that you have no location for. It's much easier and better to just find a location, a low-cost location for free that you can use, or like I said, very low cost, and then write your story around that location. All right? Okay. Now, after you have the location, then you can actually get into your story development. Again, base your story around your location. You can't. You'll be all year trying to find a location because you wrote a script that you have no location for. And what that normally turns into is you're that person that's running around town saying they're going to make a film, but they're trying to get the location. If you had your location from the very beginning, it would just be a matter of writing your script and using the location that you have. So I highly suggest that you find a location first, then get into story development around the location. All right, budget. Dun dun dun. Sort of the big one that I get a lot of questions on, and what I have been telling people, especially in this current climate of making independent films. I will make a film around the $20,000 to $25,000 range. And the reason I say that is because you want to make your film for about $15,000 to $20,000 and then use $5,000 for distribution. And I'll get into where that $5,000 will go during the distribution process. But I highly suggest that you make a film in this price range, because if you go cheaper, you're going to have to start cutting corners. You can make a film for a lot cheaper. Let me get that out there first. You can make a film for a lot cheaper. I have made films for cheaper, but I found myself cutting a lot of corners and just doing things that I wish I didn't have to do. Again, on the high end, once you get over $25,000 and you're just spending too much money, because you want to make your money back. That's where I get these numbers from. I mean, you can spend any amount of money you want to spend, but you also want to make your money back. And once you start getting into over $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, $100,000, things like that, you're just spending too much money, and you're going to make one film and then you're going to be done. So you don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to make multiple films. So I guess if you say, well, I have more than $25,000, what I would highly suggest is that you take any money over $25,000 and use it for your next film. That's what you should actually do. Is you have money for your first film, and then you already have money for your second film. If you have 50,000, then you're all ready to go and make a complete second film. So I highly suggest that you stick to that 20 to 25,000 range, because you'll be glad that you did. You don't want to get into taking years and years to get your money back. Again, you're chasing one film, you're promoting one film for years. It becomes a drag to you and everybody around you, because it's like, we got to keep promoting this film. We got to get our money back. We got to get the investors' money back. Blah blah blah, and it just turns into this long, drawn out process trying to get the money back, let alone actually make a profit and make another film. So you want to start low, get your money back, and then move into movie 2 and 3 as soon as possible. That's why I say make a low budget film in the $20,000 to $25,000 range, and then move on. All right, your script. Your script should be 60 to 90 pages. Now, most people know that most scripts are around 90 pages. Most movies are around 90 minutes. But in the low budget independent world, you don't have to make a 90-minute movie. You can, anything over 60 minutes is considered a feature. So if you really don't have 90 pages, or your film just isn't, you don't have the money for 90 pages, then you can go 60, 70, 80 minutes and still have a great movie, and no one will consider it a short film. You want to get out here and make features and things like that are longer. So the rule of thumb is 1 minute per page. So if you have a 60-page script, you should have around a 60-minute movie. Now, there can be some leeway in that, but that's sort of the rule of thumb that people go by. So I mean, naturally, if you have 90 pages, then go ahead and make a 90-page script, but and then you can have your 90-minute movie, but you don't have to have that. So that's mainly what you want to do, is go 60 to 90 pages. Okay, determine the number of shooting days. And I say 10 is good. And the reason I say 10 is good is because out of all the films that I made, when I shot for 10 days or so, or I should say 10 days, I normally had the best experience with that budget and in the page range, in that number of pages range. Normally what happens is, when you try and make a film that is under 10 days, what winds up happening is, again, you start compromising, you start moving too fast, and you just get into issues where you find yourself cutting a lot of corners because you just don't have the time. And when you start going over 10 days, what winds up happening is you and the crew and everybody starts to sort of relax a little bit, because you're only going to shoot 6 or 7 or 8 pages that day, which is a lot, but it's like you feel like you have time, and all you really wind up doing is burning money. So I would definitely suggest do a 10-day shoot, even with a 90-page script. That's 8 to 9 pages a day, and you can easily get that done and get your film out, or get your film completed, I should say, and shot in 10 days. I'm going to say 90 days. In 10 days. So I would definitely say 10, stick to 10, and sort of go from there. All right. You also want to find an editor in the development process. I found that finding an editor early is definitely the best way to go. They can help you with DIT, basically just helping you import the film and make sure everything looks good as you're shooting. But they can help you with that whole process. They can also sort of help you determine how you're going to shoot things and how things are going to help them during the editing process early. So, you don't want to shoot the film and then they start asking you all these questions afterwards. And did you shoot in this format? Did you do this? Did you do that? You can have all that stuff up front answered, and you guys both know what type of film you're shooting before you actually shoot. So the editor knows that, and you know that, and you guys are on the same page in the beginning. So this is a development process. These are the main things that you want to cover in the development process. So we'll move into step 2, but these are the main things you want to do in development. And if you get these things done, then you're on the right track. All right, let's move into step 2.